Welcome back, everyone, to Planescape Torment. You're here with Van Lefebvre, otherwise known as DraxxKraven. When we should probably go into the Gathering Dust Bar.
Chief, what are we doing in here? Let's say we just give this place the laugh, all right? Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
How did you die, Mort? No, not gonna ask that. Okay, so he can say things, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's additional dialogue. Sarah the Skeptic, Naroch, Awaiting Death, Zombie Workers, Old Copper Eyes, Zombie Bodyguards, Emmerich. I remember him. Seemed important. They put in a bunch of barrels with nothing in them. Okay. Well, let's talk to Naroch. They had a job for us, right? I could do a job. You see a spindle-thin dustman in dirty black robes. His stiff black hair springs forth from his skull like a crown of spikes, and his leper-white skin is drawn sharply across his skull. He is frowning into his drink and mumbling to himself. Greetings. The dustman looks up at you, blinks once, then looks you up and down, studying you. As he studies you, he takes note of his spiked locks and points at himself with it. Naroch, Initiate, Dustman, Guard. I'm here about the posting outside. The dustman looks you up and down. Many troubles have I. Help, can you? A mausoleum awakes. The dead walk. The dead disturbed. The dustmen disturbed. Find out what disturbs the undead. In copper coins I will pay. Very well. Where is this mausoleum?
Updated my journal.
Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial. Go north and west from Black Monument. Go to Arch and a semicircle over your heart with this finger, this make. He wiggles the index finger in his right hand. To the mausoleum go you will. I'll look into it then. Farewell. Awaiting death. Before you is a young dustman with stubble on his chin and dark circles beneath his eyes. He is staring at the wall with a somber expression. Greetings. The dustman doesn't look up. He stares straight ahead as if seeing something several leagues beyond the walls of the bar. Can I ask you some questions? The dustman doesn't respond. He keeps staring into the distance. Alrighty then, let's go, Chief. This dusty might as well be fertilizer. Fair enough. Let's go. As you turn to leave, the dustman suddenly speaks, his voice barely a murmur. You have to strain to hear the words. You think he said something about wanting to die. What did you say? The boy's expression does not flicker. Do you want to die? Truth. No. Do you? Truth. Yes. Do you? Lie. Yes. Do you? I really don't know. Do you want to die? Are you threatening me, boy? I really don't know. Do you want to die? Yes. Why? This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue this charade any longer. His face wrinkles in disgust. Why would anyone wish to remain in this foul city in the desert in the center of a multiverse that feeds on pain and hatred? Death is silent, comforting. That's a bleak outlook. There's a lot more to life than pain and hatred. This is living. He bares his teeth and his hands clench. This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue the charade any longer. Death is silent, comforting. Trust me, it's not. How do you know? I think I've died before. I don't remember much about it, though. You lie. No man can die more than once, not without being resurrected by mighty magic. Resurrected? Resurrected, brought back to life. The magic required is indeed very powerful. Who would be capable of such power? A powerful sorcerer or priest or one of the powers, but not anyone I know. And I don't believe you know anyone of that sort either. If I die, and remember, I will return and speak of it to you. Then you may gauge whether I lie or not. Farewell. Well, I'd say no reason to like make a show of it. That feels like a really bad idea to just show up. Hey, hello, I'm immortal. Please don't use my power for evil. Please don't like take me over or something. But if I do remember what lies beyond the realms of death, I will tell awaiting death. I will return here. He's not in my journal, so I'll have to do that au natural. Old Copper Eyes. Before you was a tall, silent figure. He could easily pass for a statue, although the deep furrows in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculptor was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. He looks well over 50 years old, but exactly how much over 50 it's hard to tell. As he slowly turns to look at you, you catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen. I have some questions. He says nothing. Never mind then. Farewell. Sarah the Skeptic. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. La, look who's come a-calling on Sarah today, Death's dearest son. She looks you up and down, then shakes her head in disbelief. By every power in its mother, boy, what crypt did you crawl out of? Well, the crypt was losing its charm, so now I'm looking around for the right place to die. Can you think of some place? She barks a laugh that rattles your ears. Not here, unless you want to die of boredom. What's wrong with here? Someone pinch your sense and your sight, boy? Look around. What do your eyes see? What do your eyes tell you? A bunch of fun-loving dustmen drinking happily and conversing merrily, celebrating life to its fullest. A dustman bar. Very good. At the risk of explaining myself, dustmen are the dullest breed of dullards ever to nest in sigil, always speaking of death reverently, like it's some holy union that every creature in the multiverse should strive for. But you're a dustman. A dustman? I suppose. I've seen enough sand pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. This body's almost ready to pay the ferryman. She chuckles, but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Of course I am, boy. Who isn't? She frowns and glances around. Well, except dustmen. They're not afraid of because they've been swallowing so much of their own bat droppings over the decades. They're blinded themselves into thinking that death is some kind of release. What sparked this crisis of faith? Life, I suppose. Never you mind. I won't bore you with the niggling details. I'd like to know, actually. Oh, would you? How old do you take me for, boy? I don't know and I don't care. Lie out of kindness. Let her down gently. Truth. Let's be a jerk. Old. Well, you're wrong. I'm really old. I've spent most of my long years teaching dustmen. I've seen many dustmen whelps grow within our order, taught them the ways of the faction, kept the faith, preached the tenets of the faction, and so on and so on. No questions, no doubt. This life was merely an antechamber that led to the true death. So what happened? Well, a half-month back, I went sick with a fever. I thought it was the end. It, rattled my cage. How? Her face becomes as stone. There's something about having your faction members circle around your deathbed like a pack of pale-faced ghouls, nodding and agreeing that your suffering and dying is all for the best. Oh, Sarah is so fortunate. She shall soon be relieved of the burden of life. Burden of life? And that's when it struck me. Yes. That there's something addled about not appreciating your life. The dustmen keep saying that life is misery and suffering. Is it? That we should be happy to pass on into oblivion? Should we? She shakes her head. Questions, and precious few answers. It doesn't sound like you believe in the dustman philosophy anymore. I suppose. I've got a swarm of doubts all buzzing in my skull. Hard to get them all to be quiet sometimes. They need to be fed some answers, and I haven't got that all worked out yet. What will you do? To be square, boy, I don't know. That's the problem with doubt. I can't even trust that what I'm feeling is true, or if I'm scared of death only because of my brush with the fever, or even what I should do. Is this a passing thing? I don't know. Oh God. There's a lot of possible answers. If you had truly believed in the Dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. I would treat this as a test, as that life is one of pain. It's a weapon that life uses against a soul to keep it anchored to this existence. Do not let this brush with fever break your Dustman beliefs. Time will heal these doubts. I don't know. If you truly believed in the Dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. Maybe so. Maybe so. I'll have to chew it over some more. You should. It's no small matter. Enough of me rattling on with my woes. You look like you've shared a few handshakes with death yourself. Hasn't that changed your view somewhat? Doesn't it make you appreciate life a bit more? Well, my condition is unique. I woke up in the mortuary. I think they mistook me for a corpse and were prepared to bury me. The strange thing's I think I actually had died. And just got better. You're rattling my coffin. No, not really. It's true. Strange are the ways of the plains, and I've seen too much to throw any tale out with the wash. If it's true, why does it happen? All I know is I woke up in the mortuary with no memory and covered with enough wounds to kill me 3 times over. Now don't be saying that out too loud. Most peculiar. Never heard of anything like that. Shame about your memories. Do you have any idea why something like this might happen? Nay, not one. Never knew anyone who death wouldn't take. Until now. Maybe you could answer some other questions. Have you seen a journal recently? I'm missing mine. What does it look like? I have no idea. If you don't know what it looks like, how do you expect to find it? I'm beginning to wonder that myself. I had some other questions. I'm searching for a man named Farad. Have you seen him? Sarah's face crumples into a frown. That dog. He's the worst of the collector's lot. I heard he has his kip set up somewhere in Ragpicker's Square. Many streets west of the mortuary gate. Dangerous place, though. Some of those collectors aren't patient enough to wait for folks to die so they can sell them for jink. I see. I had some other questions. I wanted to ask you about a Dustman in particular. No harm in it? Old Copper Eyes. Don't know much about that one. He's a strange blood. He never moves from that spot. Never eats, never drinks. He just waits. Makes me uneasy. I met a scribe named Dahl at the mortuary. Do you know him? Dahl? He was my instructor in the philosophical arts during my early training at the mortuary. Crusty old food to boot. He's ill, so my ears tell me. I bet he'll even bore death with his presence. Is he dying? Sicker than a spotted dog he is. Not much sand left in the hourglass for him. One of the embalmers in the mortuary, Iveen. Do you know her? Who? A strange young woman. Poor eyesight, near deaf, talons for hands. Maybe she's a new initiate? I've never heard of her. Very well. Awaiting death. Awaiting death? That boy is half the sense of a jackass. He actually wants to die. And him so young, too. I wish death would rattle his cage. Teach him something. I must take my leave. Farewell. Mortai Gravesend. This tiny wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously and his eyes dart around the bard like a bird's. Greetings. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives a slight nod in greeting. Hail and well met, traveler. You look like one who's just getting their sigil legs about them. Pardon me, have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow. Possibly. Are you certain it was me? Maybe I'm mistaken. Mortai shakes his head. Well, no matter. How is it that Mortai Gravesend can help you? Do you seek the contract, perhaps? Contract? The contract. Why, it's but a simple transaction. From the depths of his huge robe, Mortai pulls forth a dusty parchment and a quill pen. I give you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. What use will you have for them at that point anyway? I'm not interested. I did have some questions, though. Of course, of course. It'd be my pleasure to answer any questions you might have. Have you seen a journal recently? I know nothing about a journal. I deal with documentation of a much different sort. I'm searching for a man named Farad. Have you seen him? He's one of those collectors, isn't he? I know little of him. I think Initiate Emmerich mentioned him in passing. Emmerich should be around here in the bar somewhere. He can usually be found in the far corner of the head table, I believe. Can you tell me about some of the patrons here? What do you think about Sarah? A troubled initiate. I heard she contracted a sickness not long ago and it changed her. Now she seems bitter and angry and she does not speak the Dustman beliefs with the conviction she once did. I fear the bitterness is a passion that would jeopardize her position within the faction. Are Dustmen not allowed to feel passions? Oh my, yes. Too much passion, too much emotion prevents one from reaching true death. To be passionate runs contrary to the philosophy of our faction. I understand. What can you tell me about old Copper Eyes? Mortai's eyes go cold. The one with eyes of copper? His eyes speak enough about his purpose here. He makes a semicircle over his heart. A member of the Dustmen he may be, but I would never sign a dead contract with him. Copper is in his soul. Copper is his soul, and to me, that speaks of an excess of passion for money. He's a Dustman in name only. You mean I could sign a dead contract with him? Yes, but it's much better that you signed with me rather than that greedy monster. Greed is the passion that kills, you know, and to a Dustman it is twice as deadly. Do not trouble yourself speaking to Copper Eyes, good sir. Deal with me instead. What do you think about awaiting death? A troubled initiate. He seeks death with a passion that's most inappropriate for a Dustman. Farewell. Is there something wrong? Forgive me, I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly. I don't recall you. Well, no matter. Farewell, Mortai. Yes, farewell, farewell. Something about that one. What happens if I'm looking to sign a dead contract? Huh. Copper Eyes makes the barest of nods and slowly reaches into his Dustman robes with both hands. With his left, he pulls forth a small bag of human skin. With his right hand, he draws forth a piece of parchment folded around a finger bone pen. The bag and parchment are slowly laid on the table in front of you. Pick up the parchment and examine it. It's a contract that entitles the Dustman to take possession of the signer's body after he has passed beyond the eternal boundary. The signer, in exchange, receives a monetary sum from the Dustman, agreed upon at time of signing. You assume the sum in the bag is the amount you will receive for signing the contract. Examine the bag. The bag is full of coppers. There are about 100 in there. I've changed my mind. Copper Eye says nothing, simply reaches for the bag and parchment and draws them back into the folds of his robes. Huh. So he offers a better deal, but he's weird as fuck. Alright. Emmerich. Emmerich was supposed to be looking for Farad. Maybe he can help me find him. Or I can get a job to kill him. Just because I accept a job doesn't mean I'm going to complete it. You see a heavy-set man with dark skin and grim features. He's dressed in Dustman robes and is regarding you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one who is lost. The man's voice is like stone settling. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose? Who are you? I am Emmerich, factotum and initiate of the Fourth Circle. Is this your bar? If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. The Dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. Can I ask you some questions? I'm looking for a man named Farad. Have you seen him? I would know why you seek the collector, Farad. He stole something from me? I don't think... if he did strip me before he sent me in, he may have stolen something from me. I wish to speak with him. As do I. He's made such a thing difficult. He speaks through other men. I'm sorry. He speaks through other men. When two men speak through other men, little is said and much is lost. Why do you want to speak with Farod? The collector Farod has brought many corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies are from. Tell me more about these bodies. Some are recent dead. They still have their last moments in their eyes. Many more bodies are centuries dead. The dust of ages lies upon their bones. I must ask where these bodies are from. Perhaps I could find out where these bodies come from. How would you do such a thing? I would track Farod down and ask him. If you spoke with the collector Farod and returned with his answers, you will have done a great service for the Dustmen. Find where the dead he brings to us are from, and you will be rewarded. Very well. I will find Farod, speak to him, and find out where these dead bodies he brings you are from. Your path is our path. Return here when you have Collector Farod's answers. Can you tell me where he is? It is not known to me where the Collector Farod is. He hides from the eyes of the Dustmen. I would seek other collectors. Ask them your questions. Very well, then. I must take my leave. Farewell.
I'm gone.
Jeez. Are we actually gonna kill something? Ooh. Open tomb, gathering dust bar, Angyar's house. Well, I have no reason to go in, so I'm not going to. I think I'll go up the street. Bind the Sender. Huh. I guess I'll talk to him next. He's wearing an awfully colorful uniform and shifting his sprite. Huh.